Hello everyone and welcome back to Swipe and Travel with Jake. I'm Jake obviously, and sorry for the long delay. Won't happen again, I promise. But today, instead of talking about the most expensive credit card you can get, like last time, we're going to be talking about not the cheapest credit cards you can get, but the introduction low annual fee travel card. So these should be like your first travel card if you haven't had a travel card before or hadn't had a card with annual fee before. This would be your first card. Few rules I have set for this. I will be talking about some combinations of cards with these cards, but in terms of ranking, I'm not ranking them by the, travel setup. I'm only ranking them as individual cards on their own, as if you have the only credit card. But I will mention them because some of the credit cards they pair with are really common credit cards that many of you will already have, so it's worth a consideration when you're deciding for you what credit card you think works best for you with your current wallet as it is. But in terms of ranking them, it won't count. So the rules were each credit card had to be $150 annual fee or less, and this is not an effective annual fee. Like, this is not the annual fee minus the credits. This is the annual fee. So the annual fee had to be $150 or less, and it really should have been $95, but there's one credit card I had to add here that was $150, so it made it $150. And that's it. So we're going to start off with our first credit card on the list, and this is the American Express Green Card. So this is the entry point for membership rewards, and is the cheapest personal membership rewards card. It is a charge card, not a credit card. So it does not have a credit limit. It has no preset spending limit, as American Express says. And this basically means that it adjusts to what American Express best thinks is your spend, and you have to pay it off at the end of your statement period, or 25 days after your statement period. You can't roll it over like a credit card and roll the balance over. So not how this works. But unless you go for some of the business cards, and we're not really going to talk about that today, since people may not be comfortable doing that, but I'll touch on it a little bit. But yeah, I think for American Express is a really good starting point. You get 3 points per dollar on restaurants worldwide. You get 3 points per dollar any travel expenses. So this includes airlines, hotels, travel agencies, cruise ships, rental cars, all that stuff. Anything that's under that travel category, you get 3 points per dollar. And you get 3 points per dollar on transit. So this includes ferries, tolls, subways, buses, any sort of transit, like mass transit kind of thing. You get 3 points per dollar on as well. So if you're in the city and you use public transit a lot, like buses or subways, this is a really good card to have, since you will get 3 points per dollar on all those purchases. You also, rideshare is another one. So if you use like an Uber or a Lyft, you get 3 points per dollar for that as well. But if you don't really live in a city and you don't travel a lot, the only real benefit you're going to have to this card is that 3 points per dollar on restaurants. But because it's an American Express card, you can actually upgrade it after your first year to the gold or platinum card. So maybe if you just want to just try out the American Express cards and see if it's a right fit to you before you go on and spend $325 or $900 a year, this sort of gives you like a little bit of a tease of it. It also has a $209 clear credit. So if you are already paying for clear on your own, you can get this credit card would effectively be free. But personally, I would not pay $209 for clear. I'd probably pay $50 to $100 for clear, so I don't really value it at that full price. But that's just something you should know. And this is the only one that's sort of hard to pair with another MR card, or another like card in this list besides Bilt, which we'll talk about later. But if you have a Blue Business Plus, which is the only free membership rewards card, it is a business card that gets you 2 points per dollar on everything. It could be a pretty good combo. That's my go-to catch-all card. Normally is my Blue Business Plus. But on its own, if you travel a lot or you live in a big city or dine out a lot, this could be a pretty good credit card for you, and is a great way to get into American Express. And it has a pretty good welcome offer too for the amount of money it is. You have to spend $3,000 in 6 months, which is probably about the lowest one on here, especially for the amount of time you have. $3K in 6 months to get 40,000 points, which is a pretty good starting point, I would say. I'd say you can get some pretty good flights for 40K points on American Express. So the next one we're going to talk about is the Chase Sapphire Preferred. So the Chase Sapphire Preferred has an annual fee of $95 a year, so cheaper. And it has the earning categories of 3 points per dollar on restaurants, 3 points per dollar on online groceries. So like if you order Kroger online or Walmart groceries online, I don't know if Walmart counts, but any of those grocery stores online, you get 3 points per dollar. 3 points per dollar on streaming services, and 2 points per dollar on any travel purchases. So this includes hotels, rental cars, airplanes. It also includes transit, like buses and stuff like that, like the American Express, but you get 2x instead of 3x on that category. So that's something to keep in mind. But however, though, big benefit for this card is you get primary rental car insurance. So a few of these cards have rental car insurance, but this is the only one that has primary rental car insurance, meaning if you get into an accident in a rental car, it does not touch your personal insurance. I believe for American Express outside the U.S. and same thing with Capital One outside the U.S., it becomes primary. I know it oftentimes will become primary outside the U.S., but this one also works inside the U.S. It's primary coverage. If you have a Chase Freedom Unlimited, because all these cards, if I don't mention a category, they earn 1x. So that's just something to keep in mind. If I don't mention a category, it earns 1x. So if you have a Chase Freedom Unlimited, that has a base earning of 1.5x or 1.5%. However, if you already know you have that card, it's not exactly cashback. It comes in the Chase Ultimate Rewards points. And this card also earns Chase Ultimate Reward points. But when you have a Sapphire card or an Ink Preferred card, you get the ability to transfer these points to partners, which is the best way to get value for your points. So you can actually move your Freedom Unlimited points to your Sapphire card, and so that way you have a base earning of 1.5 instead of 1. So it doesn't sound like much, but it does add up over time, especially for more expensive purchases. That can add up over time. So it's a really good thing to have, and considering that how many people have that card, it's probably one of the most common credit cards. I think every single person I know has a Freedom or Freedom Unlimited card of some sort. So I would say that's a really good way if you already have this card. And you can also upgrade to that card if for some reason you don't qualify to get a new card. But I would not recommend that because you're missing out the sign-up bonus on this card, which is 75,000 points for $5,000 in 3 months. So a lot higher than the American Express, and it's honestly one of the higher ones on this list, but 75,000 points is a really good amount of points, especially with Chase, as Chase does these boosts all the time. Like, for example, right now, you can spend, for every 1 point you send to Virgin, you get 1.4 Virgin points. So if you send 50,000 Virgin points, you get an extra 20,000 Virgin points, which for Virgin is a lot because you can get flights for like 12,000 points or even 7,000 points. And I've seen some as low as 6,000 points from New York to London. So a lot of value there. So the next card we're going to talk about, and this is my least favorite one on the list, is the Capital One Venture card. So the only benefit I see to this card is having a Capital One Duo. Instead of using the Venture X, you use the regular Venture card with the $95 annual fee, because this card earns 2x on everything. So no matter what it is, no matter what, you get a flat 2x. The only way I would see this card being really good is if you have a Capital One Saver card, and you can move your Saver cashback to your Venture card with the transfer points, and that's a good option to have, within one bank, since the Saver earns on 3x in this case on restaurants, groceries, and entertainment, which is very broad. But you can also get a Capital One Venture card, Venture One card, the free one, and do the same transfer, which has a lower earning rate. And I'm going to do a whole video about the Capital One free trio, but you can get those 3Xs and combine that with the free Venture One card and get the same transfer partners as you would with the regular Venture. You don't unlock any more transfer partners, and you can get a Quicksilver to round that out and make it a flat 1.5. So yeah, 2x versus 1.5 on the Capital Trio. Is it worth $95 a year? I'd argue no, because you'd have to spend about $5,000 a year, I believe, in order to offset the annual fee for that extra half a point per dollar. And I feel like for most people, you're not going to spend $5,000 on stuff that's not restaurants and food. And if you are, well, if you can qualify for the Venture card, since it's really hard to get, you likely can qualify for the Venture X. Now, we're not going to rank this card in this video, but I do want to just say it because if you're going to go out and get a premium credit card, the Venture X is $395, but you get a $300 Capital One travel credit that's easier to use than any other credits besides the Clear credit I've mentioned in this video. And you get 10,000 miles every year just for having the card. So the $395 annual fee is easily offset if you travel at least one time a year. So in my opinion, it's not worth it except for the sign-up bonus. So the sign-up bonus on this card is to spend $4,000 in 3 months and get 75,000 points. So a little bit cheaper than the Sapphire card, although I would argue Chase has better partners, but still pretty darn good deal. So you could always do the first year on the Venture card and then downgrade to Venture One and do the Capital One Trio like I'm talking about. But in my opinion, the Venture X, I believe, has basically the same offer, and you're not going to qualify for this card if you can't really qualify for the Venture X. And the Venture X, as I said, more than pays for itself with the fee because this credit card doesn't really have any ways to offset the fee. So in my opinion, you're better off with the Venture X. It earns the same 2X, and it's a Visa Infinite card. You get lounge access and whatnot. So we're not going to do a video. We're not talking about the Venture X too much, but because the Venture X exists, I think the regular Capital One Venture is a no-go for me. So I would not recommend it besides the sign-up offer and then downgrading it later if you can't, for some reason, get the Venture X. But if you can get this card but not the Venture X, that's a very few amount of people. The next card, though, and I quite like this card a lot, even though I don't like the bank that issues it that much, is the Citi Strata Premier. So the Citi Strata Premier, I think, if you just want one credit card or maybe two, if you just want a one credit card setup and you want to earn points on all your daily and travel expenses, this is it. You get 3 points per dollar on hotel and air travel, so like the American Express card. But you also get 3 points per dollar on restaurants, again, like American Express or on any of the other cards I pretty much mentioned besides the Venture. But you also get 3x on groceries, which is the only card here that actually gets it on regular groceries, not just online groceries. And you get 3x on gas and EV. So if you're paying for gasoline or you use EV public charging a lot, you get 3x on that as well. So other than the transit category, which if you're using gas or EV, I'm assuming you don't live somewhere that has a lot of mass transit, maybe tolls, but not mass transit. Well, there you go. You pretty much get all your earning categories on your daily spend. You could pair it with a Citi Custom Cash, which gives you 5 points per dollar on your first $500 of your highest category. I use that card for groceries and to get 5x on groceries since I don't have a gold card yet. And then I transfer it to my Strata Premier and use the Strata points that way. You can also pair it with a double cash. You get a flat 2x. So honestly, if you want a flat 2x, you may be better off with the Strata Premier and the double cash to get that 2x. Because you get more categories than you would even maybe with the Saver and the Venture. So that's something to consider as well. But it's up to you. You can look at the transfer partner list and see what works for you. But yeah, I would just say also because with Citi, that card is just a really good single card if you really want a simple setup where you just use one card for everything. If you don't really care about earning the maximum amount of points, but you still want to earn points to travel on for free, I would say the Citi Strata Premier is a great card, especially with the welcome offer of $60,000 points after you spend $4,000 in 3 months. So pretty good welcome offer. And a lot of people may actually have the Citi Custom Cash or Double Cash already, since again, they're pretty common credit cards. You can have it a trio with pre-existing cards and have a lot of point earning potential. The last card on the list is the only free card on the list, and this is the Bilt MasterCard. Now, I don't want to talk too much about it because they're changing this card, but there's one reason you should get it, and it's if you pay rent or have a mortgage. But I'll explain why that in a minute. So, just the card itself, 3x on dining, 5x on Lyft, 2x on any travel, so same as the Sapphire card, and 1x on rent and anything else. That is right. You get points for paying rent, and you don't even have to pay a fee for paying a credit card because you have this card. Beginning in next year, in February, they're actually going to add mortgages. So if you own a home and you pay a mortgage, you get 1 point per dollar for paying your mortgage off too, which is pretty good. The only thing I don't really like about this card is on its own, I think it's a rather cruddy card, and I think they're like making it even a little bit worse as a card. But, you know, you also can't pair it with another point earning card. I mean, you could get other point earning cards, but you can't pair it for a single ecosystem. So I think that drags it down a lot. And there's no sign up bonus. So yeah, that sucks. But again, if you're paying rent or have a mortgage, which is imagine is a lot of people, I think this card is honestly no brainer, even if you go with the other cards on this list as like your main spending cards. So I'm going to rank these cards in order from worst to best on their own. Again, not talking about them as in a system, just talking about the cards on their own. So the worst card on this list is obviously the Venture. That flat 2x, I don't think is going to cut it for most people. You don't have any credits to offset the annual fee. And, well, the transfer partners are good, but not the best. However, though, I think the $75K for 4,000 can honestly justify it in the first year. Then you do a downgrade and switch over to a Capital One Trio setup that I will talk about in a future video. The American Express Green Card, I hate to rank it number 4. I wish I could put it number 3. But while it's a great card for people that travel a lot with those 3X categories of restaurants, travel, and transit, it is about $50 more than any of these other credit cards, and you don't really get a lot of daily spend other than restaurants. It's mostly for people that live in big cities or that travel a lot. So it's going to be harder to earn points on this card than a lot of the other cards. And as I said, it's just more expensive. Sign-up offer is really good, though. And even though it's a little bit more expensive, if you're a little bit unsure about maybe going to a gold card or a platinum card, you can have this card for the first year and upgrade or apply for it, either one of those cards, with an upgrade offer or, you know, a new application offer to just see if you're willing to spend more on the higher end cards. Because I think at the higher end, American Express is the best, especially the Gold, Platinum, and Blue Business Plus Trio. So good sign-up bonus, though. So could make it worth it the first year if you want to get used to American Express. Number 3 is the Bilt MasterCard. I only really have it above the green card just because of that rent. Because honestly, even if you get either of these other cards I mentioned here, if you're paying rent or soon to be mortgages as well, there's no reason not to really get this card if you can get it. It's hard to get. That's kind of sucks about it. But I mean, even if you don't use the card, although you do have to use it 5 times per month in order to actually earn points with it and earn points on your rent, by the way, you know, you still do get free points for just paying a bill you already have to pay. So I don't really see a downside. But if you don't pay rent or have a mortgage, on its own, the card's kind of crappy. There's no sign-up bonus. The earning categories are kind of bleh. The 3X on restaurant is fine. The 2X on travel is not bad, but not really the best card, in my opinion. It does have no foreign transaction fee, and it is a free card with no foreign transaction fee. But I'll make some more videos if you really want to talk about free setups. So the next card on the list, the number 2 spot, is the Citi Strata Premier. I almost had a hard time not putting this at number 1, but for various reasons, it's at number 2. So, I mean, easily of all the cards on this list, it has the best categories. You can combine other cards here to get potentially better earning categories. You can also do that with a Citi card, with this Citi Strata Premier as well. But, you know, if we're just looking at the cards by themselves, by far, this is the best earning card since it has so many daily categories and travel categories. If it had the transit, I think it'd be over about which card is the best for single card setup. But easily a great single card to have if you just want simplicity. Maybe you have this card and a double cash, and that's all you need. You're going to be easily earning 3 and 2x points all day long. So pretty good setup, and potentially 5x with the custom cash as well. Low annual fee as well, $95. Good sign-up bonus, $60K for 4,000 in 3 months. Pretty good offer, especially because Citi has American Airlines. I'm going to be talking about points and transfer partners and stuff in a different video, but American Airlines is the only one. The only ones have American Airlines, and American Airlines has some pretty good redemptions on domestic flights. So if you're a domestic traveler, I think this one's a really strong card for you as well. The only thing though is other than American, you get 1-to-1 on JetBlue, but so does Chase. It does have some good hotel offers, but they're not like Marriott or Hilton. You're going to be stuck with American Express or Chase for those kind of cards. So, but overall, it's still a really solid card and a definitely number 2 spot. It's a card I do keep in my wallet for daily spend. And the last one, obviously, is the Chase Sapphire Preferred. So it doesn't have the best earning categories, but I'd say it's the best sort of way to get into a more premium style without spending premium prices, because I do like Citi and Capital One, but the big boys are Amex and Chase. And you get a $95 annual fee, a really good sign-up bonus, $75K for 5,000 3 months. A little bit higher. It's probably the hardest one on this bunch, but 75,000 Chase points is a lot, especially because Chase does more bonuses than any other one, like the one for Virgin. 5,000 points would be a lot of points at Virgin right now. And Virgin, I think, is one of the best airlines for travel to Europe since the redemptions are so good. Great point system, as I said. I really like their point system. The only one I like better than it is Amex. And sometimes, honestly, Chase is just straight up better than Amex. Now, I know I said I wouldn't rank the cards based on setups because we're going to be doing setups in a different video. But if we're just talking about cards that you're likely already to have, you're very likely to have a Chase Freedom Unlimited card to get that base 1.5, or even a Freedom or Freedom Flex to get that rotating 5X category. Both are free cards. So for $95 a year, you can have a pretty solid point earning setup. And again, as I said, we're not going to rank the card based on it, but you likely do have those cards already. And the primary rental car insurance, big deal, only card on this list to offer it. I think Chase cards are the only cards that just offer it, period. I know my Fidelity 2% card gets it outside the U.S., but inside the U.S. it's still secondary. So, and the only thing I really don't like about this card is I wish it had a 3X travel category, but unfortunately it's stuck at 2X. But I do think it's the best card for beginners because you get more premium partners, I would say, with Chase, and you get more premium customer service, you get more premium offerings, you get a more premium experience than I would say you do with Capital One or American Express, but you're not paying, than Capital One or Citi, but you're not paying the big American Express bucks to get into this setup. But what do you guys think? Do you have any of these cards already, or do you want to get any of these cards? Let me know in the comments. If you have any questions, I'll answer them. And next video, I have a few videos in mind, but I'll either talk about points, what's in my wallet, or ranking free cards and whatnot. There's so many ideas I have. So take care, everyone. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.